On page 35, we're going to do skill 3. And the first thing we're going to look at is if you have coefficients that are the same. So looking right here, are these two numbers the same? Nope. Are these two numbers the same? Nope. Do we have multiples? Like, can I multiply one number to get the other? Like -2, can I multiply that by something to get 3? No. So if this isn't true, I don't already have the same coefficients and I can't multiply them, then what do I need to do? I actually have to multiply both equations. And I know that sounds like a lot of work, but some of you are actually going to like it better. You're going to think it's easier if you do that. So here's what I've got. This top equation, we're going to multiply that equation by this number, the number 3. So we'll multiply the top equation by 3, and we'll multiply the bottom equation by 2. So multiply this by 3, multiply this by 2. Then you don't really have to think about it, you just multiply both. And I'm not going to multiply by the negative, because if you remember what we said yesterday, I need one positive and one negative, which I already have. So I don't want to mess with that negative by taking it away. Okay, so now we're going to multiply all of them. I'm going to cover up my first equation here. Just multiply the top by 3. So that's going to be -6x, -12y, and then I'll take 14 times 3, which is 42. Okay, that one's done. Now do this one. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 2 is 6. -12 times 2 is -24. Okay. Don't look over here. Add these two equations together. -6 and +6 will cancel each other out. -12 plus 6 is -6. Use your calculator. 42 plus, we're adding here, so 42 plus -24 is 18. Divide by -6, and y is -3. Okay, now we have to plug it back in. Should I plug it back into one of these two equations or one of these two equations? And the answer is it actually doesn't matter which one you do. Just rewrite one of the equations below so that you can kind of start from scratch so that they're not like crossed out or anything. So let's say I pick, we kind of went at the very beginning and we always used the first equation, so maybe I'll do the same thing here. I'll use this first equation and then plug in my -3 where the y is. So -2x minus 4 times -3 equals 14. Multiply here to get a positive 12. Subtract my 12. -2x equals 2. So my x value is -1. Okay, let's practice that again. I'm going to jump down to number 3, and we're going to look at that one because of the fact that when you multiply, we might have to do something different. Kind of just depends, okay? Okay, so for number 3, I don't have the same number here, and I can't make 4 into 7. I don't have the same number here for my y's, and I can't make 3 into a 5. Okay, so I'm going to have to multiply both equations. If you choose to make these two both a 28, right? So take this one times 4 and then take this one times 7. You're going to have to pick one of them to be negative. Okay, so if I'm trying to make these two the same number, I'll take this one times 4, take this one times 7. But because I have a positive situation, I don't want that. I want one positive and one negative. We will have to decide, just pick one. Do you want this one to be a negative or do you want this one to be a negative? You're just going to pick one. So maybe I do -4 on the top here. Okay, another option, because I know some of us like other options, your other option is that you could make both of these a 15. And you already have the positive negative, so that would be okay too. All right, so let's go ahead and multiply. I'm going to stick with my original plan, multiplying by 4 and 7. I chose my negative to be the 4, not the 7. All right, so this would be negative 28x minus 20y equals negative 4 times 25 is 100, so negative 100. Okay, that one's done for a second. Hang on to that one. Let's move on to this one. 4 times 7 is 28, not negative this time, but that's what we want. 7 times 3 is negative 21. Negative 15 times 7, I'll use my calculator for that one, is negative 105. Okay, once you get those multiplied out, don't look at the original equations anymore. And let's add these two equations together. So draw your line, and we're going to add these two together. My 28, because I have negative 28, positive 28, when I add those together, it makes 0. So don't write that down. Okay? On my calculator, when I do negative 20 plus negative 21, that gives me negative 41. So make sure you're using your calculator and remember that we are adding numbers together. Okay, so I have negative 41 y equals, and then I'll add together negative 100 plus negative 105. Those are both negatives as well. That's negative 205. And then we'll divide. Okay, so I'll take negative 205 and divide that by negative 41 and get y equals positive 5. Now we got to plug it back in. Which equation do we plug it back into? Any one of the 4 equations. You can use one of the original equations or one of your multiplied. I typically will use the first one just because the numbers tend to be smaller. So like that one right there. Okay, but when it says y, instead of the y, I'm going to put a 5. Okay, so we've got 7x plus 5. Now in my parentheses, I'll put this 5 that I just got for my y equals 25. 7x plus 25 equals 25. Oh man. Subtract 25 and I'm going to get 0. That doesn't mean no solution. That means I get 0. So x equals 0. Okay, let's just talk through one more time about how you would figure out what number you're multiplying by, and then I'll let you try this on your own. Okay, so since I've got number 4 on the screen here, we'll just look at this number 4. I'm always just going to look at my x value. It could be x's or y's, but if we always do it the same, it kind of makes it a little bit easier on your brain. So this number 2 is what I will multiply the equation down here by. And then my top equation, I'm going to multiply it by this number, 5. I already have a positive, negative, and I don't want to mess with that, so I'm not going to make either one of these negative. And then we multiply and we're off to the races. Okay? Your goal by the end of the class period is to be able to do page 36, problems 2, 4, and 6. That's it, 2, 4, and 6. So if you need to use the space for 1, 3, and 5 to kind of do some of your work, you can do that because I know the spaces aren't very big. Good luck.